Welcome back. As the election hangs in the balance, Team Trump continues to fight legal battles in several key battleground states where voter fraud appears to be running rampant. Joining me now, a good friend of the president's and a board member of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump, Pastor Darrell Scott. Welcome back to Real America, Pastor. How you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Well, I'm taking a deep breath. I'm trying to remain calm. And as a vet, I'm wanting the process to work and be fair and accurate and free of fraud. How about you?
Well, I happen to be a veteran too, Army.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it, Pastor. I thought I read that.
Thank you for yours. And listen, we just want the process to be fair, to be honest, to be transparent. And anyone who doesn't want that same goal, who doesn't have that same desire, has larceny in their heart.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone, regardless of your party affiliation, but I get why they're doing it, because they're drunk with power and they want the power. But I don't see how anybody on its face value can look at what's happening, see these affidavits pouring in by the dozens, hear of these people putting their names and reputation on the lines, whether they're postal workers or they were a volunteer that day or they were assigned to be a watcher, a counter, an observer. You've got dozens and dozens, about hundreds of reports of voter fraud and voter irregularity, now more on this software glitch as well. How can anyone deny it and just say, yep, President-elect Biden, let's not look into it, move on?
You're absolutely right. And not only all of the aforementioned things that you just said, what about the statistical impossibilities that are there, that 180,000 straight votes came in for Biden and not one for Trump, that every time there's a missing batch of ballots that miraculously shows up, they're all for Joe Biden. I mean, this is one of the biggest scams, if not the biggest scam that is trying to be perpetrated on the American public. The next biggest scam was the whole Russian collusion narrative. And now we have this, the Democratic Party would do anything to try to retain, maintain power. And this just shows to the extent that they're going to. Now we understand why there was such an adamant desire to relax voting standards, to have unsolicited ballots. We see that all of this came together, and then they're using, look at this. You have California, you have Florida, you have New York, the most populous states in the union. They conducted their counts in hours. You have a bunch of mid-sized battleground states that are still counting, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the kind of theme of this show too, Pastor, is to point out that on this Veterans Day, let's recall and remember and honor the fact that millions of brave men and women have served this nation, and one of the reasons they serve is to give us our God-given right in this country to vote in a free and open and fair election. And so on this Veterans Day, I want folks to remember that if you are one of the people out there screaming from the rooftops, get over it, move on, Biden's your president, then you are, I'm sorry, doing a huge disservice and disgracing the memory and honor of everyone who has served, who we've lost in the service to our nation, or who are currently serving, because they're providing you that freedom to vote. And we should all want it to be free and fair. And have you had any contact with the president over the last few days at all? I know prior to this, you've been to the White House a lot of times. You guys are good friends. Have you had any contact with him or any of his kind of inner circle to get what's going on in POTUS's head?
Oh, yes. I've talked to a number of people in the Trump orbit. I haven't called the president himself yet because I know he has a lot on his plate, and I wanted some of the dust to settle and the smoke to clear and have him be able to chart his path. I talked to Jared Kushner. I've talked to several members of the campaign, several White House administration officials. We're all united. We're all on the same page. We're all on one accord in that we unanimously believe that this election has been tampered with, that it has not been a fair and open and honest election, and that we're all focused and determined to get to the bottom of it. We're all united in this legal battle, and we believe that when the truth does prevail, we'll see that Donald Trump is the true president of the United States going forward from 2020.
And Pastor Scott, you being a man of God, and I grew up in an evangelical Mennonite home in the Midwest in Ohio, so I grew up with a big-time Christian background. I know everybody keeps saying the word unity and peace and move forward and get along, and here's what I will put out there, and I'm sure you would agree with. If we get to the bottom of everything in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and there is a clear winner, and it just happens to be Joseph R. Biden, then we will move on. We will grin and bear it for 4 years, and we'll accept him as our president. And you won't see us hashtagging not my president, screaming from the rooftops, rioting and burning things down if he's actually elected the president. But darn it, we deserve to see all of that come to fruition first before we move along and sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya with each other and say that it's all good. Right?
You're absolutely right. If the result of any audits or recounts is that Joe Biden is the true and rightful president of the United States, then President Trump will accept that as well. And he'll move forward. One thing I know, though, looking back on President Trump's entire life, one thing I've learned about that guy is this: you can never count him out.
Exactly. That question leads me into the next one, because I wanted you to get that on the record, and everybody that it's a Trump supporter, I'm going to ask them that question. That way all the radical lefts out there, they're saying he won't leave and all the Trump supporters are crazy and da-da-da-da. No. We're fine with saying President Joe Biden if, in fact, he won the election. So just want to get it on the record. But that leads me to my next question. Can you believe that folks like Miss AOC and others on the radical left are now asking to make lists? And I don't think I'm allowed to say that phrase anymore, blacklists, but they want to make lists of people that have supported the president and make sure that they don't get jobs in the future, that maybe they're let go from their jobs, they can never serve or run for office. Can you believe that coming from the left?
I can believe it, and I can believe that AOC was dumb enough to say it too. You know, you don't want to call it a black list. I could say that, but we'll call it a red list because they want a list of people on the right that are in the red Republican Party. That girl is dumb as a bag of rocks. She needs to shut up. Tell her to put my name on the list first and see how that works out for her. She needs to stop. And even for her to be able to say that uncondemned by her party, it demonstrates the entire mindset of that party.
Could you imagine if Republicans did it? The first thing out of the mouth would be, Nazis, you Nazis for making a list.
It would be a furor. It would be, Twitter and Facebook would ban it. The media would not. The media would hyper-sensationalize it to show how depraved and wicked and racist and that the right is. And it's a sad state in America that the left-wing media has become the propaganda arm for the Democratic Party and by extension for the liberal left. And it's going to take nothing short of a move of God to right this ship. And I believe that move of God is going to right it.
And we know which side has that right side on. And I'm not saying that there are not Christians on the left. There are plenty of them. But it appears that the right side is the right side moving forward, especially for this nation. Pastor Darrell Scott, thanks for the insight, man, and your time. We really appreciate it. You be safe, brother. We'll see you soon, okay?
You too. Thanks for having me. God bless you.
Yep, God bless you. Take care.